Gaming publisher fires staff, hires AI editor. By gaming publisher, we mean like gaming news and information, not releasing
Gamers
games.
Group.
Yeah, Gamers Group with a GAMURS, Gamers Group, a publisher that owns a dozen gaming websites, including Esports, Pro Game Guides, Destructoid, and The Escapist, fired around 40% of their workforce back in March. This week, they were found to have posted a job ad for an AI editor to edit between 200 and 250 AI-generated articles per week, assuming a 5-day, 40-hour work week, which is pretty standard, with 2 15-minute breaks. This would allow between 9 and 11.5 minutes to edit each article. The job posting has since been removed, presumably in response to notable backlash. Discussion question: is it possible to have something of quality come through a process like this? Unpopular opinion. I do think it is possible.
No.
I think it's possible.
I mean,
I think it's unlikely.
Of quality,
I think most of it's going to be trash. I think some of it might come out well, though.
And when we say quality, I mean, you can't. Okay, when you say something of quality, I'm not talking a fluke. One of these 250 articles a day that is good. I'm talking quality, like a quality result, some kind of consistency.
Okay, yeah.
And no, there's no way. 250 articles per week?
Yeah, there's no shot.
That is 50 a day, which works out to what? About 7 an hour, which is 1 every 10 minutes. And that assumes that you are just in the zone. You are as much a machine as
Pumping
your AI
away.
helper.
Yeah.
There's no way. You don't get snacks. You don't take bathroom breaks.
You don't have like mental
unreasonable.
lulls. Because there's going to be times where you're faster and some times where you're slower. Yeah, it's going to be garbage. It's bad.
I hear that. Oop.
Who knows if it's even going to be happening, though. They did pull the listing down. And we've talked about this kind of stuff in the past, right? There are sites that already do this. This is a thing that is happening. So don't think just because they closed this that it isn't a thing.
I sometimes don't even notice till I'm like halfway through the article, man. And I notice like it's repeating itself. I'm like, this is AI written. I'm not staying here. I will leave.
Yeah, get out of there. Get out of there fast.
It's rough.
Yep.
And I'm so close to actually starting to subscribe to quality publications. Like,
yeah, we're going.
Happen.
We're going back, right?
We're going back. We're going back to the newspaper model, man.
Yeah.
We're going back to the cable TV model. Everything has gone this other way. Everything is free. Take it for granted for so long. Actually, speaking of online news, I guess the big news in Canada this week, anyway, is that the Canadian government finally passed the Online News Act, which forces online platforms to pay Canadian news corporations for links to news content that's shared on their platform. While Google initially seemed willing to negotiate, it has now declared Canada's law to be unworkable, and it and Meta are claiming that when the law takes effect, they will start blocking links to Canadian news sites. Similar laws were passed in Australia and France, and Google and Meta made similar claims that they would block news content, but then relented. However, that doesn't mean that the laws in those countries have no downside. In Australia, as in Canada, the government did not set a specific rate. Instead, it merely forced platforms to negotiate deals with news organizations, deals which no party is required to disclose. That means that news organizations could wind up getting paid at wildly different rates, which primarily benefits the larger organizations and squeezes independent outlets. Both countries already have heavily concentrated news ecosystems. This is very true. If Meta and Google do go ahead with blocking Canadian news, they will likely also cancel existing publication deals, like the one that Google has with 150 Canadian outlets through its Google News Showcase program. The law was estimated to pay up to 30% of the costs of Canadian newsrooms. What are you going to do when there's no Canadian news in your Google News feed? Do you use your Google News feed? Because I do.
I do, but I aggressively block sites. Do you do that? That's the only way I find it usable.
No, I just curate. Actually, I just read what is interesting, and over time, it's it's gotten good.
I find it'll just, I don't know what it is. It'll just pick something random that I've never clicked on. I was showing my girlfriend a few months back. It picked some like random country singer. I've never heard of this person, never clicked on an article of them, nothing. It was like every second thing in my Google News feed was this person, what they're wearing, what song they did, some interview, some whatever. I was like, oh my God. So I had to like block that person from my Google News. I'm like, I have nothing against this person, but I don't I don't want to see them in every second article that I have. I really have to like cut it down, but I do use it. And a lot of my usage of it, to be honest, is to get Canadian news. And it sends me quite a bit of it because that's the kind of stuff that I click on, because
Right.
I sometimes find that it is very mentally taxing to keep up with all of the news in the world, and paying attention to the grim state of a lot of that when you start trying to absorb all of that, because, you know, negativity increases clicks. So a lot of what people are going to want to tell you about is all just the bad stuff that's happening everywhere. But I do try to keep up on like what's going on in my local area, so I'm at least somewhat
Yeah.
informed. So yeah, I don't know. Kind of rough. Not a fan.
I mean, there's always r/Vancouver. Oh, just kidding.
Yeah.
Reddit's
Psych.
a dumpster fire right now.
Yeah, we've got like the local city subreddits, and we've got that. But there's even been, we're talking about everything's going back to what it used to be. There's been some vague amount of draw because of stuff like this for me, just wondering like, do I need to go back to Facebook just for like local community groups? I don't use it, but like, do I go back to that so I can get news? Like, if this seriously negatively impacts my ability to get news about the local area, do I need to start using that? Like, I honestly, if Google News kicks everything out, I don't know what else to use.
Me neither.
Reddit, even in its current
it.
state, even in its everything's on fire state, it wasn't a perfect solution in my opinion.
No, it really wasn't.
No. So like I don't know what to do. It's weird.